Hello dear students. Now let us look at the first lab experiment of Introduction to C++ program. Uh, Write a C++ program to sort the elements in ascending and descending order. So in the first we are using an IOStream header file in our program. IOStream header is used in C++ program to include iStream and OStream classes so that we can utilize the different objects of these classes like scene, cout, etc. So this header file contains the class definitions of iStream and OStream classes. So we are using this header file in our program. Next we are using the namespace std. When we write using namespace std, this contains the std namespace contains many standard library components, including data types, functions, and objects. When we use this line using namespace std, it is essentially telling the compiler that to consider all the names in the standard namespace as if they are in the global namespace. For example, you can observe here cout is an object of class OStream which is defined in the std namespace. Similarly, you can see cin is an object of iStream class which is also defined in namespace std. Similarly, we have few more definitions which are included or defined in the declarative region of this namespace. So we are using this line using namespace std. Further, we are defining the main function. So in the main function, since we are sorting the elements, I have taken a variable num which will tell how many number of elements we want to sort. So this variable is initialized to 0 so that we can avoid any garbage value. And then I'm asking the user to enter the number of element using the cout object. Then I'm calling cin and I'm trying to input the number of elements. Then we are declaring an array of type integer to hold those n number of elements. So based on the number given here, that many number of elements we need to enter. So we are using a for loop to count the number of elements, and the for loop is starting with the index I is equal to 0. So count or the index of the array will start from 0 until less than num. That is because we have started from count equal to 0. So that many number of elements will be input using cin. So we have created now an array of elements. Then with a simple message using cout, we are just displaying the original array which has been input. Then we are giving a line space, and then we are going for the logic for sorting the elements of the array. Now let us see how exactly this sorting is happening. So you can observe here, I have taken the same code and I have taken two indexes here, I and j, to compare the first element with all the next element in the array. So you can observe first I have this array which has got 4 elements and the I value is initialized to 0 and it is less than num minus 1. Number of elements is 4, so 4 minus 1, so I is less than 3. This condition is true. So I am going for the next loop, that is jth loop, and in the jth loop I need to compare the first element which is at the 0th position with the next element. So I am giving j is equal to I plus 1, and j value also should be less than the number of elements, that is 4. So we are taking j is equal to 1 and j less than 4. Then The first element that is at the 0th position is 12. That is compared with the first element, that is j is equal to 1. 12 is compared with 24. So whether 12 greater than 24, we are checking here. This condition is false, so we are not making any changes in the array. Then we are going back to the for loop and we are incrementing the value of j. So you can observe j value is increased to 2 and it is less than 4. So we are going next again. Now I value is 12, it remains as it is, and j value is incremented to 2. So we are comparing 12 with 10. So 12 greater than 10, this condition is true. So we need to swap these two elements 12 and 10. So what we are doing here is we are using this swap and we are swapping the first and 0th element with the second element. So as a result we have this array. Then we are going back to the for loop, j loop, increment the value of j. J value is 3. 3 is less than 4. It is true. So we are comparing the 0th element which is pointed by I with the element pointed by j, that is 16. So you can see 10 and 16 is compared. 10 is greater than 16. This condition fails. So there is no change here. So next we go back to for loop, jth loop, and j is incremented. So j value is now 4. So 4 less than 4, this condition fails. So we are going back to ith for loop. And now I value is incremented to 1. 1 less than 3, this condition is true. So we are coming back to the jth for loop. And j value now, since I value is 1, j value will be 1 plus 1, that is 2. So we can observe here at the first position, that is 0th position, we have the smallest element of the array after the first iteration of both the for loop. Okay, now I value is incremented to 1. So from the first position, we will start comparing with second and third element. So now 34 is compared with 12 because j value is 2. 34 greater than 12, the condition is true. So we have to swap this. So you can observe here 12 and 34 is swapped, right? So we'll come back to jth loop. J will be incremented. J value is 3 and it is less than 4. So now the second element, that is 12, is compared with the fourth element 16. 12 greater than 16, this condition is false. So there is no change. We go back to jth loop and j value is incremented to 4. 4 less than 4 condition fails. So we come back to ith for loop. So now you can observe here the first two elements are the smallest, that is 10 and 12 when we complete the two iterations of I loop. Next, I value is incremented and it is 2 now. 2 less than 3 is true. So we come back to jth for loop. Since I value is 2, j value is 2 plus 1, that is 3. So you can observe that the element at the second position, that is 34, is compared with 16. 34 greater than 16, this condition is true. So we are swapping these two elements. So this is the array we got. We go back to j loop. J value was 3 here. Now it is j plus plus, j is equal to 4. 4 less than 4, the condition fails. And we go to ith loop and I value is now incremented to 3. So 3 less than 3, the condition fails here. So we will come out of this for loop and we can observe that we have got the sorted array in the ascending order. So this is how this code works. We have seen it step by step. Now once we have sorted this element, we are displaying those elements in the ascending order using a cout and a for loop. After that, the next task is we have to arrange same elements in the descending order. So you can observe that we are making a small change here. Here we are comparing the first element with all the rest of the element using the greater than symbol, because at the first place we want the smallest element in ascending order, and here we are using the less than symbol because at the first place we want the highest or the maximum element in the first place. So the code will work in the same way, but only the condition how we check is different. And once we have done with the sorting in the descending order, we are displaying the descending order array. So this is how the code is for sorting the elements in ascending order and descending order. Now let us just build this code. So the build is over and we will run this. So it is asking for 4 elements. I have put 4 as number of elements and I am giving the elements. So let me give the same elements what we had taken. It is 12, 34, 10 and 16. 12, 34, 10, 16, and we can see that we are displaying the original array, then sorted in ascending order and sorted in descending order. So this is the output of the program. You can take different set of elements and do trace it in the same way, the program to analyze the code, and you can do the execution. Thank you.